Welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Vanderpump Rules, Season 11, Episode 14, which, by the way, I know last week I told you there's 20 episodes, but that's not true because next week's the finale.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Did they say that?
Yes, at the end of this episode. Next week's the finale.
Interesting.
I know.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's going to be the party, the whiskey party.
Okay.
So that's good.
My first note is this show is definitely being canceled, and then the news broke.
That's so funny. That's so funny. And I have so few notes on this episode. Like I barely even had a page, which for me that's nothing.
Yeah. I have some, but
so it starts out with Katie and Ariana at something about her with Anne.
With Anne, so She works at something about her now.
And then they brought up Penny was brought up by Lisa that she wasn't speaking to them, that they weren't speaking to her, and she's known Penny for a long time. So
I took it as Penny must have wanted to be a partner.
Well, that's what she said.
Yeah. And they were like, no, we'll figure out your role, but you're not a partner. This is our gig.
Right. And I thought they were going to give her salary and then 10% of the profits of that store, which is fabulous. Like she didn't put any money in.
Exactly.
Nobody knows who the fuck Penny is.
Exactly. And how the hell did she trademark that name?
Well, and that's the other thing. Like we know that. I mean, they must know that then too, right? They must know it then.
I'm sure that's one of the first things Lisa probably told them. Like, this is what you need to do. First and foremost, trademark that name. Because it's a cute name.
It is a cute name. I do think, though, we were supposed to look it up when we didn't. I do think, though, they could fight that based on the fact that they said it on the show and they sold all that merch with it.
They sold merchandise, unless she was in on that. Unless she was in on the selling of the merchandise. That's the only thing I can think of.
There's no way she was in on that. How could she have been in on that? No, I don't think so.
Maybe she orchestrated some of that, and that's why she feels like she's got some pull here. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But it's documented on film that was their idea. Something about her. Unless something happened that we didn't see.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
So then Kyle Chan is talking to Scheana and Peet. I've never heard of this Peet person, some kind of internet personality.
Right.
About the whiskey event. And then all of a sudden Sandoval shows up and she's like, are you doing this? He's like, well, I thought I would help out with like the audio and stuff, which I thought, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kyle decides like, listen, we need to sit down a little bit and talk about what happened at the pool party. Cause he was there and he saw, that whole big blow up. And I'm glad he did that because, they needed to have some kind of conversation. She said, don't forget that, I've always been a good friend and, they were good friends. And that's really all she wanted him to remember. Like they were good friends and she made the song and it is what it is. And let's just move on from it, Yeah.
Yeah. She's got the right to do that.
Yeah.
They're all capitalizing where they can capitalize on everything. So
as they should.
You're right. She had every right to do that.
And then Lala's having her 33rd birthday. And I love how she calls Sandoval to uninvite him to a party that he was never invited to.
He was never invited to. He was never even invited.
I'm like, okay.
But just so you know, you can't come.
Right. And he's like, I didn't plan on it. Wasn't invited. But thanks. Thanks for making that clear.
Yeah. How good did Lala look at her birthday party?
Lala always looks good.
This fucking girl is, she is, what do they say? A baddie.
Yeah. Did you see pictures of her at Stagecoach? Dancing with her belly out. She's fabulous.
She really is. My God.
What did she say? Boobs, belly, and butt. That's what she was having out. And she sure did. And good for her.
She did. And she looked great. And did you see Heather McDonald at her birthday party?
I did. Yeah,
that was nice.
And I didn't realize they were going to see like a burlesque show. That was kind of weird. Right?
Me neither. But how interesting that they said Brock was a Mormon.
I didn't know.
he was so uncomfortable in that setting. And somebody said he was a Mormon for years. I'm like, we didn't know that.
No, we did not.
I didn't know there were Mormons in Australia.
No, I didn't know that
where
either.
He's from?
Yes. I was very surprised to hear that as well.
He looked as uncomfortable as Zach on Jersey Shore when they bring him to the strip club. Do you remember seeing those scenes? Jay.
Oh,
so Jenny
Zach. Yeah,
loves
the
strip club.
Yes,
Zach is so uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's how uncomfortable Brock looked.
I agree. You know, I don't know why, but the Broth Bros really do not like Lala.
I haven't listened to them in so long.
I don't
know why. I don't even know why.
They don't like Lala, and they're kind of Team Ariana. They are Team Ariana and Katie.
Has Ariana been on their show?
I don't think so.
Because they get people on their show. Whoops.
No, I know they get people on their show. I mean, they're doing the show, if they didn't do it already, with Candace Dillard and her Chris. And
Chris has been on it before.
Yes.
Chris Bassett.
Yeah, and somebody else is going to be on that show too with them.
What's her face is always on it from Beverly Hills, Sutton. They're big Sutton fans.
Yeah. I don't know.
But, oh my God. What am I doing? Whoops. We're not editing that out.
No, it's fine. It's all good. Let's see. So Lala asked Scheana why she was with Sandoval, because when she FaceTimed Sandoval, Scheana was there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she did that in front of Ariana.
And Katie was like...
And Katie and Ariana... And, you know, she said she was going over the show with Kyle and he was there. And then he had apologized and said that, you know, she missed him. And Ariana looked pissed. And then she said, pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, listen, I am not Team Ariana on this. I'm not. I'm really not.
I still think I just want to know the timeline where we're at, because I think she has a right to feel the way she feels. But you're also filming a show with him and you agreed to do that. And it's an ensemble cast. So you have to understand that these people have a job to do. And part of their job is to film with your ex.
Right.
So like in a normal setting without a TV show, yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck you hanging out with him for if it's only been a month? But you're on a show and it's, you know, Bravo shoving cameras in your face. They have a job to do. They have to do it.
Yeah, but you know what? She was on Watch What Happens Live with Katie, and they're still holding the same grudge. And now it's been over a year.
Honestly, I
didn't watch it. You didn't miss anything. That's pretty much all it was. It's just them still holding the same grudge.
And I thought it was very odd how she and her boyfriend, what's his name?
Danny, yeah.
Danny. Kept referencing her ex, like not calling him Tom, not calling him Sandoval, the ex, my ex, your ex, her ex. Like, it just seemed very immature to me, the way they kept bringing him up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I know it's not that soon after the breakup, but, you know, after a breakup and then you start dating somebody else, you don't want to keep talking about your ex. It's really not a good look.
I also thought it was weird, and maybe he'll show up at the whiskey thing. Like, he came to San Francisco, but yet he's not doing any of the events with them. But maybe he will.
A lot of people were saying that online.
Like, what was the point? Just to give him some camera time, get him a paycheck?
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Somebody put online, like, he's a clout chaser. This guy's definitely a clout chaser. I don't personally see that yet, but maybe we'll see it next week.
Oh, at the maybe he'll be on the episode, the finale. Maybe he will be. Maybe we will see it. I don't know. And then what else? Oh, then Joe is also going to San Francisco. That I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why is Joe going?
I thought they were taking a break or whatever the hell they were doing.
Yeah. And even his interaction with her, like, that was all weird.
Especially asking her how many guys she's banged while on their break. Like, that's fucking weird. Especially on TV.
Yeah, it was weird. I thought that whole thing was weird.
Yeah.
So then they get to San Francisco, and Brock has the 1920s theme party planned.
That's cute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess he planned the boat trip too. He told them to dress warm, but they didn't. Like, they didn't have the right clothes.
No, half of them looked a fool.
Right.
Scheana was dressed appropriately, right?
Right. Yeah. She was bringing warm clothes, and he was kind of questioning her about it. Like, why are you bringing so much stuff? But she was prepared.
Right. Right. She understood the assignment.
She did. I like that the boat was called Wine Therapy.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, that was cute.
And then James and Allie are in the back of the boat, and they're trying to take a selfie, and all of a sudden that big wave comes and like knocks them over.
I have to be honest with you. I was getting seasick watching that scene on the boat. I get seasick on big waves like that. Those were big waves.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I noticed that because I've been to San Francisco, I've seen the seals. That was Fisherman's Wharf.
Yes, I've been
and
there
I've
too.
seen the seals there. Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. That was cool. Yeah. What else?
I zoned out for a little. I even have it written down.
I zoned out.
But I loved when Schwartz asked Katie for a one-night stand.
That was hysterical.
And I hope she does it.
Well, you didn't watch What Happens Live, so she doesn't do it.
She didn't. Damn.
And she said that, like, what did she say? She said she would have actually rather slept with him because he said, like, let's just, like, hang out and, like, watch TV and not talk. And she said that was more intimate on Watch What Happens Live than actually just having sex with him. She said just having sex with him would have been probably okay.
Well, she should have done something.
Well, she did nothing.
Not surprising.
Yeah. And then, I have Scheana was talking to Tom again and asked if he can apologize for the comments he made about Ariana's mental health. And, well, I don't know. I don't think he did.
So basically, he alluded to the fact that he had approached her about breaking up and she said that she might commit suicide. That's what he alluded to.
Yes.
He should apologize for that.
100%. 100%.
Most certainly if it's not true. And even if it is true, how dare you repeat that?
Right. No, I agree. Honestly,
how has he not apologized for that yet, by the way?
Because honestly, she won't even talk to him. How is he going to apologize?
That's true.
How's he going to apologize?
Yeah.
I mean, she will not even look at him or talk to him. So,
right.
Is he going to apologize through his lawyer?
Right. Or Anne?
Right.
Did you happen to catch where Scheana said under her breath to Tom, because I'm not really a singer?
No.
Totally. Under her breath, she's like, because, I'm not really a singer.
No, I did not see that.
I'm like, oh, no shit. And I wrote that down.
That is funny. No, I missed that.
Yeah. She must have been asking about, I forget what, he was saying how, they have to do sound checks and all that stuff. They were talking about.
All right. That's all I have.
That's all I had.
All right. So
I didn't have much either.
All right. We'll move on to the Valley.
Let's move on to the Valley.
Is our next go-to show, I think, at this point.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
And it's so funny because you're like, I'm not watching it. I don't want any part of it. And who knew?
I really didn't because of Jax and Kristen, but I do like the rest of the cast. And I feel like Michelle is really being villainized on social media right now.
You know what? That's horrible. So
I agree.
I listened to, there was a podcast just this past week, Brittany, the Jackson Brittany podcast. It was Brittany and Michelle. Did you happen to listen to it?
I didn't, but I will.
You should listen to it. It's really good. And Michelle is so sweet. And she talks about the new boyfriend. And, she and her and Brittany are talking about it. Michelle had to move out of their place, even though they have a child. Brittany had to move out of her place. Like, the men are staying there. Like, both Jax and Jesse are douchebags. I don't like to say that word, but that's what they are.
No, I totally agree.
Like, you don't make...
Why would you make your kid...
the mother of your child...
Ages, if I had to take my kid somewhere, okay, Joe, pack up your PlayStation. We're going.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the kids those ages, especially with Cruz, with his therapy, like I'm sure he has a whole setup there.
Yeah.
But so Jax made a statement about, well, we'll get to it at the end about the house. And she's like, you're acting like I didn't contribute here. And I did. Yes. All right. So just an asshole.
I know. I'm not a fan. I never was. So Kristen and Luke leave and Jesse and Michelle go back into the room. So it starts where it ended last week where they were all fighting.
Yeah.
Kristen and Luke, they go off and then Jesse and Michelle go back into the room and everyone wants to know what the secret was that Kristen is protecting. And Michelle's like, I don't know what the secret is. And then Jesse
she does.
Jesse also says Kristen yelled that I was going to divorce Michelle in the next 2 months. and Zach announces, and everyone says, like, that's not what was said. And even Luke, her boyfriend, who's the one who told her what was said, said that's not what was said.
Right.
And actually, this is the first time I've actually liked Luke was in this episode. I
felt the same way. Yes.
And Jesse asks, like, can we just like not have Kristen in this group anymore? Like going forward, Michelle's like, if Kristen's going to be there, like, I don't want to be there. And I don't blame her.
Them or me. It's them or us.
And honestly, I don't blame her. Not the way it's going.
No, I don't blame her. And Jesse made a comment that he thinks that this is bringing them closer, which I think it could. I mean, obviously we know what happens because they're separated now, but at the time, something like that will bring you closer. When somebody's threatening your marriage or your family or something, that's when you really, that's my experience. Eric and I become close, not that we're not close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand.
We have each other's back. We're more supportive with each other than ever if somebody's coming at us. Absolutely. And that's how it should be.
Absolutely. And Jesse even said that, like, he doesn't want a divorce. And I do think that was the case. I just think, just like Jax, I think that they're both so narcissistic and self-absorbed that they just don't see how their actions affect other people.
And it seems to me like Jesse possibly acted like that for so long, and now there's cameras on. So maybe now he's doing the right thing, trying to mend things, but it's probably just too late. It's too late.
I don't know. I mean, I just think that he is, and I could be wrong. I think that him and Jax have a lot of the same character traits. Jax has been on TV for many years and has seen himself back on camera for many years and has made zero changes.
Right. But I think Jesse is actually trying to do all the things now that there's a camera rolling. Jax still isn't trying to do the things.
Right.
I mean, other than bringing her to the tantric sexpert.
That was so weird.
We'll get to that.
We will get to that. We definitely will. Then Kristen and is talking to Luke, and she's saying that she doesn't want to lose Michelle as a friend. But, that's all you're doing, Kristen. You brought that on.
I believe that ship has sailed.
I did like...
One thing, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
One thing that Jesse said that I do agree with, though, when he was talking about her posting on social media, like she used to post all the time when she went out with her girlfriends.
Oh,
like
Michelle.
Boomerangs and stuff like that. Yeah, Michelle. And then all of a sudden she stopped. That's definitely a red flag.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? I'm not a huge poster when I go out. Sometimes I will. But somebody who always, like, we know people who always
posters.
Post. Yes. So if they all of a sudden stop, that's a red flag for sure.
That is a red flag.
Yeah.
It is a red flag. Janet and Jason are talking, and Janet is explaining to Jason about what Jasmine told her, but she didn't tell her that Jax knows about that Kristen told him about the Michelle rumor. And I loved Jason in this moment because Jason was like, listen, like, why are you even getting involved in this?
Right.
And he also said, I love this one. When she got pregnant, she quit her job, and now she's gossiping. That's her new full-time job. And it is.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. I was thinking about that. I'm like, you quit your job when you got pregnant? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I understand you quitting your job when you have the baby, but
good for her.
Like a month before.
Well, he is an attorney.
No, I mean, listen.
Maybe she doesn't need to work.
Maybe. I guess she doesn't. She clearly doesn't.
And
now she's on the show. But I thought Jason was good in that moment too, talking about that.
And even when they walk over to Brittany and Jax's, Jason is again like, the voice of reason there.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to be because.
But even Brittany was too.
As soon as the show opened, I have it written down. Jax said, "I don't know what to do myself. I don't know what to do with myself when I'm not in the conversation. Just listen to other people, Jax. Like just to listen to what other people have to say." He I don't even think the word narcissism is a good enough description for him. He's like so far beyond that.
No, I agree. So then next is Kristen and Luke go to the OBGYN so she can see her follicles, and they want to make sure that they look good. And the doctor says everything looks good.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, why aren't you texting him? If you're not getting pregnant, why aren't you testing him? Because you got to look at both.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You
got to look at both sides. Like, what? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. That was my observation with that.
For sure.
And then Jason and Janet, they walk over to Jax and Brittany's. Jason and Brittany both get involved. No, Jax and Janet both get involved. And Jason and Brittany do not get involved. Like, they are both, like, good partners.
Like, Brittany obviously knows what's going on.
Right. And she would never say it. Right.
Yeah.
She's like, I would never say that.
That's not my place.
Right. And she gets pissed when Jax says things that he shouldn't say. Because
maybe they wanted to go on the show and keep up a front. Maybe they didn't want it out that she was talking. Maybe Jesse knew this all along, but it wasn't going to be part of the show. Maybe they, obviously people go on reality TV shows with something going on in their lives thinking it's not going to come out. And here, their own friends are the ones bringing it to the forefront.
The thing is, though, I don't know. And we don't know if, in fact, she was talking to somebody else.
Right.
We just know what Kristen said. Because when she was on the podcast with Brittany, she did not admit to talking to somebody else. She didn't admit to it.
Didn't.
No, she's with somebody now.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that she actually was then.
Right.
She could have shared with Kristen a year ago when she was going to getting her own apartment. Right. And then Kristen does what Kristen does and just,
It's bad.
It is bad. So then Nia and Danny are at the park with the kids, and Danny's asking her how she's feeling. Yeah. And she said that she's going to reach out. She's going to reach out to Sally. And again, she's not wanting to say the word depression. She's saying the baby blues, but she does actually finally say it. She does finally say the word postpartum depression. And Sally recommends that she needs medication. And we all agreed on that. Like, she does need it. And, like, don't feel sorry. And they are still my favorite couple. I still love them.
He's such a good dad. He's such a good husband. He's very supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then next, the Jax takes Brittany into the intimacy tantric sexpert. I had to write it down. I was like, what?
I know. I had to rewind and write it down again.
Me too.
I got the first and the third word, and I missed the second word, so I had to rewind it, and yeah.
And I missed the sexpert. I got the intimacy tantric. I was like, intimacy, what? I think that was a made up thing too.
Probably.
And
then Brittany says they've only had sex twice in a year.
Yep.
It's not good.
And even Jax, like he said, he wants her to see that he's trying to buy him some more time. Like, that's not why you try, Jax, not to buy you more time. You try because you love her and you want to make her happy.
Yeah, and she's clearly so insecure about her body. So what does it hurt? Listen, I know what I look like. My husband just told me 2 weeks ago, you look like you lost weight. I'm like,
thank you.
No, I don't. But thank you.
I'll take it.
I most certainly do not. But thank you very much. Like, it's just little things like that. Like, I'm sure when she wears something, you look at her and you're like, like, tell her.
Yeah.
Tell her. How hard is that?
Listen, the fact that he made her get the breast implants the size he wanted, not what she wanted.
And they are clearly way too big.
They're too big. Ridiculous.
Clearly way too big. Yep.
She needs to get that fixed. Like, it's not.
Maybe she'll do that now that she's away from him.
Yeah, and even
she
her
should
face.
Do that now.
Even her face, like, she didn't need to do anything. She's a beautiful girl.
I don't want to say anything negative about her because I do think she's a very beautiful girl, and
she's
I have
beautiful.
seen people be nasty online about it. But there is something going on with her bottom lip. Has she addressed that at all?
Well, I think when we see her, I think what she addressed was that she had that surgery just a couple weeks prior to filming. Because when she started the first episode, she had that white thing around her head.
She was wrapped up. What surgery did she have?
She had like a chin lift or something with the chin.
Oh, so maybe that would affect
it's all
this
swollen.
area.
It's all swollen, and that's why it's all swollen. It's all swollen.
Okay, so maybe as the season goes on, we'll see that. And again, I'm not saying that to be mean. She's a beautiful girl, but I did notice that like her bottom lip looked a little odd.
It's
a couple of episodes.
She even mentions it on the podcast. It may be the one with Michelle. Like her biggest regret was that she had this surgery so close to them filming, because she tried to address it in the very first episode with putting that thing on, that she had surgery, and people didn't realize that she was all swollen. She was still swollen. She hadn't fully healed. But my point is, she didn't need any surgery at all. No. She was absolutely gorgeous before she touched her body, because they even flashed back to a picture of her when she first came on the scene. And she was beautiful. She still is beautiful. I just wish she would love herself.
She didn't even need boobs.
No. I mean, you of all people know how overrated they are.
Oh my God. If I could, like, seriously, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I know. And even Stassi talks about it. I mean, and I'm sure Stassi talked to her about it. Like her having her breast reduction was the best thing that she did for herself.
Yeah. I have friends who say the same thing. It's the best thing they ever did. They don't regret it. I mean, in the moment, it's a hard surgery to get through. It's a hard recovery. You need help.
Right.
But no regrets.
Right.
No regrets.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
What else do I have?
Well, Jax and Luke and Jason go bowling.
Yeah, but wait, that happened. I think that happened after. Oh no, mate. Yeah. Okay. Brittany and Jax are having the date night.
Yeah. So why did I? Because I have the tantric thing, and then I have that they went bowling.
Maybe
didn't the tantric thing lead into?
I have the date night. So I have Brittany and Jax they have the date night, and Brittany's like happy that he planned the date night, but was pissed because he waited for her mom to leave, and then they have Janet and Jason come over to watch Cruise for the night.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was funny. And poor Janet, she's like, oh my God, like he's just so much.
And he seems like a very good little boy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And then I don't. Oh, you know what? I have it back here. It was back here. So this is where it was. After the tantric sex thing, then Jax, Jason, and Luke go bowling. Jax wants Luke to see that Kristen is going off the rails and is, they kind of tell him.
They're using him as a messenger, basically.
Yes. And then he says he understands and he knows she gets triggered. Then the Nia and Danny thing, then the Brittany and Jax go to thing. And then Luke tells Kristen what Jason and Jax are saying, that people don't want to be around you. And, Kristen accepts that what I heard and what I repeated were not the same thing.
Right.
Which is, it is what it is. It wasn't the same thing.
It seems like she takes it pretty well until he says, if we move forward.
Right.
That triggered her.
I
don't blame her.
It didn't trigger her in person. It triggered her in her confessional.
Right.
So, like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If that's going to trigger you, then you need to address it with him, not in the confessional.
Right.
I don't know. I just can't with her. I really can't. She's annoying.
He definitely wasn't getting through to her, bottom line. He wasn't getting through to her.
No.
She was, at first she took it, and then she was like, like a little defensive. Jax got defensive with Luke, I thought.
In what way?
Because I thought Luke was like, well, you could be a little messy too. And Jax,
Well, he can be messy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. And Luke kind of put it back on him, and he got, I got a lot going on,
Right.
All right, well, so do we all.
Right,
but
exactly.
You're getting paid big money to have a lot going on, Jax.
Yeah.
We're not.
Exactly. And then you know what it was? They were cutting back and forth. So then Jax takes Brittany to the Mondrian for the romantic night.
Yeah.
And he has the chef come to their room and make them dinner, which I thought, well, that's really sweet.
That was nice. That was nice. Excuse
Are we
me.
keeping you up?
I'm so sorry. It's been such a long day. It's been such a long day.
I'm so kidding.
And I played kickball in CCD. So I'm super tired.
Were you doing this outside, I hope?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Last night we always play kickball. And
oh, that's great.
I'm just going to miss this class. I had such a fun time with them this year. This was by far, I've been doing this 14 years, by far one of my favorite classes. By far. But yeah. So we play kickball. I'm a little tired. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just joking with you. Then Jax wants Brittany to know that they're that having another child is more work. Like, she doesn't know that.
I got to be honest. I was kind of, I don't blame Jax. I just don't blame him for being honest, and I see where he's coming from. I didn't think he was out of line for saying that.
Well, listen, he may have not been out of line, but you don't take your wife on a romantic evening and then tell her in this spot after you've had the chef come that, listen, I know we were going to plan on having another child, but this isn't the time we're doing it. Like, you can't do, it was just a bad timing issue. Like, either you're taking a romantic evening or you're having a conversation.
I see his side of that, and I don't blame him for saying that. However, I do think that he was very insensitive to the way she responded. He was very insensitive to her feelings about the whole thing. Like, you could say how you feel, and that's okay, but then you have to let her say how she feels without being a dick about it.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of men struggle with that.
Right. I mean, he even said to her, Brittany starts crying, and he said, you can't cry about this. And she's like, I can't have an emotion. And he said, no.
Right.
No.
Very insensitive.
Right. You can't tell her she can't have an emotion, but maybe this wasn't the time to have this conversation. You're trying to build a bridge, but then you're cutting her down. Like, you can't do both and expect it to go well.
Right.
And then she's sitting there crying and he walks out. Well,
yeah, that was ridiculous.
I mean, come on.
That was ridiculous. Yeah. There's definitely something wrong with him. Like, that guy needs to, like, serious count. He might need, like, inpatient.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. He needs to be sit down and been like,
The thing is, this is the thing with people like them, like Jax. You can't help someone who doesn't know that they need help.
Right.
So there's nothing that's going to help him because he thinks he's fine. Everyone else around him is wrong.
Yeah.
There's no therapy that's going to help this guy. He's fine.
Not if he doesn't acknowledge that.
Right.
Right. He's like that.
Right. Exactly. And
I didn't like that she said he doesn't do anything. Like, I do everything, because we know a lot of people can be in that position, but you can't say that to your partner. You shouldn't say that to your partner, in my opinion, even if you think it.
Yeah, but what she was saying was, he's saying that, we have so much going on, and, with Cruz and having a difficulty with his speech problem. And she's like, listen, don't say that I'm not going to, just because I have another child, I'm not going to give Cruz everything that he needs. Like,
right. Brittany. Oh, so the only other thing I really have is that, Michelle and Jesse go to dinner with Nia and Danny.
Oh, yes.
And poor Nia can really, like, she can't even get through a dinner.
She starts crying.
Like, Michelle's trying to talk to her about the whole Kristen thing for the camera time, and she just can't process, which,
yeah,
I don't blame her. I've been there. I get it.
She said the postpartum, that's where she used the word postpartum depression, was at that dinner. That was the first time she said the word. And you know what? Listen, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Michelle does kind of look at Jesse with contempt, though, sometimes. She does kind of look at him like, I don't really like you.
Well, the funny thing is, you got to listen to the podcast, because when she's talking to Brittany, she says that after watching it back, like, she didn't realize, she thought that she was hiding it. She thought that she was okay with it, but she sees what we all see. And she did not realize that. And the other thing that she says is that, they made the decision to separate back in September, I think she said.
Wow.
But they couldn't do it. They couldn't even file for the divorce, even though that they were both on board with it, because the show was coming out and they didn't want that story out there, because people would have gotten a hold of it, and it would have, they had to wait for the show to come out. And that's why they announced it as soon as the show came out, because at that point you're going to see it play out.
Right.
Which, you know, it makes sense. Like, you know, they finished filming. It was like shortly after they finished filming. So they finished filming like the end of August. By September, she's like, you know, they both had decided that this is, you know, I'm going to move out and this isn't going to work and we're going to get a divorce.
Right.
So people are giving her hate because, first of all, they don't know that timeline. And they think that she all of a sudden started dating this guy. But there was a long time.
Right.
And Jesse's dating someone too.
Yeah. So it does seem like it's amicable at this point.
And it is. She's saying that it is. And, it, you know, in the beginning, it was a little weird. But now, you know, oh, there we go. Now they have, you know, a good working parenting relationship. And she feels like they can go out together and like still be at events for, you know, Isabella, and still celebrate holidays together. And, you know, that's something that doesn't happen overnight. But the fact that they just separated in September and, you know, that now that they're already at that place, you know,
I think that's
a good thing. Yeah, I do too. I think that's a great thing. And, you know, she even said that she hopes that, like, you know, that Brittany even said, like, Jax and Brittany, they did Cruz's birthday together, but they're not in the place yet where she's announced the divorce, because she hasn't made that decision yet.
Right.
Like, I
think she's still holding out. And quite honestly, I really do think that Jax loves her. I really do. I'm not
saying he doesn't.
I just think he's just so self-absorbed, but also highly insecure.
Oh, definitely.
Like, can't see past himself, but has no confidence in himself, but acts like he's it's really like he really should go talk to somebody. He really should.
He should. He definitely should.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how this whole thing plays out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I think that reunion is going to be interesting.
The reunion's definitely. I mean, when did they film it yet?
No, they did not.
Yeah, so now we're going to have Michelle and Jesse addressing their separation, and Jax and Brittany addressing their separation. So that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we'll just touch a little bit about, because we haven't really talked about, a little bit about Summer House.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, with Danielle sitting down with Gabby, and Danielle is like out of control. She's out of control. Like, Gabby's supposed to be your friend, and Gabby is all upset, so upset that she is like sobbing uncontrollably in the shower, calling her sister.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but she was also on Watch What Happens Live, Gabby, after this episode. And what she was...
I don't know if I saw that.
It was, who was it? It was Gabby and Lindsay. It was Lindsay and Gabby. And what Gabby was saying is...
That must be in my DVR. I might have to watch that tonight.
It's a good one.
That must be in my DVR, because I watched it. I do watch it on Thursday nights, but after we do this, and then by the time... So I watch the episode, and I don't watch... I save the Watch What Happens Live. But that one, I feel like I would not... Like Ariana and Katie, I had no interest in that. But that one I would be interested in.
Yes, it's Lindsay and Gabby. And what Gabby says is that, you know, what when she watched it back... Because Gabby and Lindsay, because they have not had their reunion yet, saw that episode for the first time that night. They had not seen that episode yet. So what she said in watching back the episode is that the fact that Danielle saw, like, she came in and they said, well, she's in there crying. Paige said she's in there like crying hysterical. She's like, she knows me and she knows that I don't cry. Like, I've maybe cried twice or once in 2 years. Like, I am not a crier. That she knows that about me. And the fact that she knew that I was crying and then didn't even come in. And she was hurt by that.
Not only did she not come in, she went and fucked the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Without a second thought.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, I'm not saying that to fault her for doing that, like live your life, but then don't go the next morning. Like, so you did what you did,
right?
And now you're like, I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to feel sad,
right?
Well, you should have addressed that last night,
right? Right, exactly. And even Paige is trying to tell her, listen, Danielle, your words are a little harsh. Like maybe you need to sugarcoat things a little bit,
right?
And then Paige leaves the room and Amanda comes in and tries to talk to her. And now Amanda's pissed because Danielle like brushes her off. Like, what, does she
totally
not respect
dismissed
me?
her? But no, and I don't even think it was that, quite honestly.
I don't either.
I think she just was done with the conversation and she wanted to go bang the guy, basically. And she probably thought, I'm in here wasting my time with you two. I could be out there working it and in my bed within the hour.
Right.
I think that's what it was more.
Right. I agree. I mean, even the fact that, and Gabby also brings this up, even the fact that Gabby is so scarred from her last relationship, which is why she's a little gun shy, because he cheated on her with Danielle.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Yes. And that's what she's like, what's not going to happen is she and I fighting over a guy who blows up balloons as a hobby. That was pretty funny.
No, and she's right.
Yeah, and I don't blame her. I would have backed off. Like, have at it. Good for you. But don't, I'm going to step back and you go do what you got to do. But don't then turn it on me and say that I'm not forward enough with this guy. Because I'm not going to compete with you.
Right.
If you weren't going for him, maybe I would be more forward. But if you're going for him, have at it.
Right. I was not happy.
Insult her for her flirting abilities.
Right.
Maybe she just wasn't feeling it, or she just didn't want to compete with you.
Right.
Because that's not her style.
I also thought it was interesting. After the party, Carl and Kyle are cleaning up, and they're talking about the conversation with Lindsay, and about what Lindsay said to Carl about him, killing it in life. And Carl's like, listen, I made 70,000 on paid posts and she's made 150 because she has more followers. So that was very interesting to me. And plus they're getting paid for the show. Right. So it's not like you're there with a pauper. It's not like he's not contributing.
Right.
Like, what are you doing that he's not doing? He's doing the same thing you're doing.
Right.
Because you're not in PR.
And he's staying sober. Like, I think she's like, when he said, you don't think I'm crushing life right now? And she said, no. Like, I don't think saying that to somebody who's sober is productive.
No, it's not.
And you as his partner should know that's not productive.
Right.
You should be rallying and cheering him on every step of the way.
Yeah.
We'd have no idea what that's like. And I'm sure it's incredibly, incredibly difficult.
Right. And he also is telling, Kyle, that he didn't realize that she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom.
Like, how did you not have that conversation?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things she does kind of say on Watch What Happens Live. It's not that she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but she wanted to have like the flexibility of when, to take off maybe a year, and, bond with the baby and, do that kind of thing. But you still could because you're getting paid for posts and the show.
And how about instead of looking at him like, well, what are you going to do to support us? Well, why don't you set yourself up so you can do that?
Right.
You have the means, you have the opportunities to set yourself up so that if you do want to stay home for a year, you got it. I got it.
Right. Yeah.
I think I can't, I still don't understand. Well, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this reunion. I really am.
Yeah.
I really am. And then Sierra and Amanda and who are all at the Old Navy store together?
Paige, Sierra, and Amanda.
Yes, Paige, Sierra, and Amanda. And Sierra asks Amanda if she thinks that she has an identity outside of Loverboy. And good for Sierra, good for her.
And she says, because I don't.
Right. Yeah. But it was a tough conversation. And I think Amanda needed to hear it.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't think Paige could have done it. I think that Sierra was the right person to do it.
Yeah.
I will say I did not like the Old Navy commercial inside the show. I did not like that. It was a little bit annoying. Seriously,
like this jacket's nice.
Right. We need to do that. We're already selling Loverboy in the show. Now we need to sell Old Navy.
Right.
I mean, do we how many product placements can we get in one show?
Right, exactly.
Exactly. I don't know.
Kyle too, like very narcissistic, very, I mean, I think he has a hard time seeing past. I think he loves Amanda very much. I think he has a hard time seeing past himself.
I agree with you, but I do think that Kyle is willing to work on it, and Kyle is willing to go to therapy. And
he acknowledges
Kyle yes, and he's willing to put the work in, which is what is needed. Yes. Whereas, Jax and, Jesse, they're not willing to do those things.
No.
They don't acknowledge it.
Right.
And then Carl goes to see his mom and his stepfather, and that is enlightening.
Oh my gosh, that conversation was tough to watch.
It really was tough to watch, but you know what?
I mean, they must have been thinking all those things for quite a while.
Well, we find out that there was they had a rough spot. We didn't know that, and we wouldn't have known that. We wouldn't have known that.
Right. Right.
And then that's what people are saying, that Carl planned this whole thing. That he planned to go to his mom's house so we could get out all this information because he planned on doing this. I mean, whether he did or he didn't, he has a right to go talk to his mom,
Yes, he does. Yes,
and
he does.
He needs someone that's going to support him, and he needs someone who's going to support his sobriety.
Right.
And Lindsay wasn't. So who else is he going to talk to?
Right. And that stepfather seems like such a lovely man. Obviously loves his mother very much and cares for Carl.
Yeah.
And his well-being.
Yes.
And did they say he's a therapist?
No, he's a minister.
Oh, okay.
He's a minister. He marries people. Okay. He marries people. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure he does some kind of premarital counseling with that as well.
He does.
He had solid advice.
Yes, he does. Yes, that's exactly it. And listen, he's right. It's easier to cancel a wedding than to deal with the aftermath of trying to get a divorce.
Listen, I'm a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm a participant in a marriage called off very close to when it was supposed to go through. And at the time I didn't understand it and was devastated. But looking back, obviously it was the best decision that was made. Obviously.
Right.
So yes, it is much easier to call it off than to deal with a messy divorce.
Yes.
I mean, they're already having issues because of the apartment that they were renting together.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Imagine owning a home or having a child or any of the other things that come along typically after you get married. Yeah.
Yeah. I 100% agree that he did the right thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that Gabby says, because on Watch What Happens Live. Because like I said, this was the first time they saw the episode, and Andy asks them, what are your thoughts? And Gabby said she has a few choice words for Carl at the reunion. I was like, what's that about? And she really did not like what Carl did at his mom's house and that whole conversation, which, she's obviously Team Lindsay. She's obviously Team Lindsay.
For sure. Listen, there's a reason they brought Gabby back, and because I like Gabby, I don't think she brings a lot to the show though at all. But
no, she doesn't.
There's a reason they brought her back, and it's because she's Lindsay's soldier.
Right. Right.
But I don't personally mind what he did in the conversation with his mother and his stepfather. I do not like that he called off a wedding on national television with her. I think that was very douchey, extremely douchey. Whether she knew it was coming or not, that's fucking mortifying. And you did it on national television. That's inexcusable to me.
And I'm just waiting to see it play out to decide whether or not I'm okay with it. I'm going to wait to see.
Yeah. I understand why he did it. I think it was a good decision. I think the conversation with his mother and his stepfather on the porch, no problem. But I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe I'll see something that changes my mind. I just think that was a terrible thing to do to anybody. And I don't like Lindsay.
No. Another thing Lindsay says is that after watching the episode, there's a lot that she didn't know about at the moment. So she didn't know that Carl was having these thoughts.
All these thoughts.
Right. And, one of the things he had mentioned was that the way she behaves when she drinks. And
that's got to be a bad, like a big thing for him.
It's valid.
He's sober.
That's a valid concern.
For sure.
It's a valid concern.
Eric hasn't drank in 2.5 years. I don't think he particularly likes how I act when I drink either. I don't get nasty. I just talk too much. I talk too much and I repeat myself. I get annoying. I'm an annoying drunk, but not a mean drunk.
Right.
I'm like, bah, 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 and I talk about the same thing over and over again. Somebody's got to shut it down. And normally Eric's the man for the job. At my Christmas party at work, not this past year, the year before, he came up to me, he's like, it's definitely time to go. You're talking like you're on Sopranos. I'm like, okay.
Okay. Valid point.
Understood. I'll get my coat.
I love that.
Yeah. That's code.
Like I said, that's all I have for Summer House. I'm looking forward to the reunion.
Yeah.
I want to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that we can have another Summer House though.
That's what I'm very curious to see who comes back next year. I don't think they can both come back because clearly there's going to be different love interests. I have a feeling maybe Carl will back out just because of the whole not drinking thing. And Lindsay just in her mind thinks that she's the star of the show anyway. But maybe Carl won't bow out and then we'll really see something. I don't think they can both come back though.
Well, the rumor is, and I don't know if it's true. So she did say on Watch What Happens Live, she is seeing someone.
Oh.
She did say that. And the rumor is, now this is a rumor, that she is pregnant.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes.
But she didn't address it on Watch What Happens Live.
No.
Andy didn't bring it up.
No, I don't know that rumor was out yet. I don't know that rumor was out yet. And again,
because this was last Thursday night and that just came out this week. I did see that.
Yes, and I don't know if it's true. I didn't really do any digging on it, but that would be very interesting if it is.
For sure.
And actually somebody was one of the podcasts, they said that if it was maybe it was I don't know, somebody from Summer House or somebody that knows Lindsay said that if it was true, they would be happy for her because that's really what she wants. Is she wants to be a mom.
Yeah. Deep down, I think that's really all she wants because she had no relationship with her mother, right?
I mean, it was her aunt that she was close with, right? She really, So
I don't think her mother acknowledged her. There's something with her mother. She never met her. I don't know. It's kind of like a Kenya Moore thing. So I do think deep down that's all she wants. I would be very happy for her too. Yeah,
I would too. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Jersey Shore.
Okay, Jersey Shore. So Snooki's having a girls' day, and she's doing the sip and paint. And it's Dina, JWoww, Sammy, and Snooki. Angela is not available. Angela.
Did she reply?
Not Angelina. Did you hear what I said? Angela.
Yeah, Angela. Is that her birth name, by the way?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know either, but she made that comment, so I'm curious.
I know. I mean, that whole TikTok, when she explained it, how it happened, that she was at the Jets game and she was at the box, and obviously she's a player's wife, so she would have been at that box.
Right.
And she didn't post it. Angelina did. I mean, Sammy didn't post it.
Sammy didn't post it, right?
No, Sammy did not post it. The other girl did. I don't even know what her name is. Like, they just are calling her the girl. I don't know what her name is.
I don't know her name either. I don't know who her husband is. I don't know who she is. And people are saying she's trying to become relevant with this on social media.
Listen, I mean, her husband's relevant. He's a Jets player, so she needs to be relevant too. She gives me Brittany Mahomes vibes.
Oh, 100%. Right? Yes. 100%. Yes. Yeah.
And so the boys, like, they're doing the Arizona trip. Then Angelina is with Vinny 2.0, and she asks if he wants to go to Arizona.
Yeah, like, when did he come back into the picture?
Who the heck knows? I am so confused by this whole thing.
Oh, and how about him wanting his name on the deed of the house?
Well,
did we talk about that?
We didn't talk about that, but that's what she told Mike and... Yeah.
And Lauren.
Yeah. What's that about?
Fuck you, bro.
And he's got no money, but yet he bought a truck and he bought this, and then he's not coming home, and... Like, what?
That poor girl is definitely surrounded by people who just want to take advantage of her. For sure.
I feel like we are going to see so much more based on the podcast. Did you listen to the...
I did. And that guy that's on there with her, they've been friends for a long time. And did you hear the part where they were talking about how they met? Or I don't know if it was when they first met, but he took a train all the way back to Long Island or something. And she was like, why didn't you tell me? I would have gotten you an Uber. And he was like, because that's not the type of friend I am.
Right.
I would never ask you to do that for me. And I thought that's nice because she's just surrounded by so many people trying to take advantage of her. At least she knows this guy's legit.
Yeah. No, he was...
I liked their chemistry together, those two.
I did too. I mean, it sounds like he does other shows with other people, and he was like a fan. He was a fan. Like, and, he went there like a fan, and just they hit it off, which is good. Right. Even though he started out as a fan, like, he's legit. He's definitely a friend.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, based on that podcast, like there's way more that goes on that we don't even know. And you and I both were saying this, like, this girl needs therapy. That's what we said. And now she's in therapy. And I'm so
which
thankful.
Is wonderful. Yeah, because I feel bad. I did as me, not we won't never, but I did write on Instagram. They need to get her off the show. She ruins the show. And I feel bad I said that, but to me it's too much how she behaves. But I got to tell you, I got over like 500 likes on that.
You did?
And people are like, yes, I agree. And now I feel bad because she is getting therapy. And
okay, well, you can go on as We Wine Whenever and stick up for her.
And rebut it?
Yes,
I
why
could
not?
do that.
You could go rebut yourself.
I could. Nobody
Who's
will
gonna know? Nobody will know.
Nobody will know. The 6 people who listen to this will know, but that's all right.
That's it. And 3 of them are us.
Absolutely. But I love when Paulie was like, don't fuck with Sam when he was watching.
I love Paulie. I love
Me
Paulie.
too.
I really love Paulie.
I really love all of them. And honestly, I really love watching the show. And that's what I mean when I say Angelina ruins it for me, because the way, like how she was acting in Seaside in the bathroom, like, that I don't want to see that on this show. That's fucking Real Housewives. That's that bullshit. Like, this show, I just really want to see them with their significant others and their kids and how, because they really are like siblings, even though they all hooked up with each other.
Yeah.
But and then Vinny acting like his stupid jokes and stuff. I just really enjoy watching them. Like, I feel like
I do
we're
too.
friends, even though we're not friends.
I know but it goes back to what I said last week. Hurt people
For sure.
And that's where Angelina's at right now. But she is on a path to get better.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her.
Me too.
I'm rooting for her, and I'm rooting for the whole cast. I want them. I mean, I don't need to root for Snooki because she's already on top of the world.
And Paulie. They all seem to be really killing it, man. And
good
they
really
for them.
do. I'm happy for them.
Me too. Dina, she's got like a clothing line. She and her husband seem so happily married. Like, good for them. Snooki, like you said, she's doing great. I wish we saw Gianni on the show because I think he's a great guy, but I get it.
Yeah.
And only her daughter ever films.
Well, because probably the boys don't want any part of it. They're boys. Can you, would you? No.
Nope.
Not over here either. Well, maybe Matt
would. Yeah. But what else happened?
What did you think of Thomas Day, the guru?
Oh,
Thomas Day.
Wait. But Paulie's face when he started yelling, and Paulie's like, I can get down with this guy. I love to yell.
was so funny.
Good. And Mike's face, he was like,
yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm actually hoping like the whole crew meets Thomas Day. I want to see.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
I do. I hope that they all sit down with him. I'm looking forward to like the next episode and what happens with Thomas Day.
Yeah.
And then the big question is Angelina coming? And then she shows up. And then the other big question is she going to show up to dinner? And then Sam has the seat next to her. She's like, this is where she's going to sit. Like, don't anyone, like, this is where, like, Sammy's got, good for her.
Oh, absolutely.
Good for Sammy.
Absolutely.
Like, she's like that silent killer, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you think she's a sweetheart, but look out.
Right.
I like her. I like it.
Me too. I'm so happy she's back. So happy. I just like them all together.
I do too. But it's so funny because JWoww and Angelina have always been like this, right? They've always been like this.
Yeah.
And Sammy is so polar opposite of JWoww. And now we're watching them both have like the same thing with Angelina, and they both handle it the same way but differently.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't think Jenny goes out of her way to poke at Angelina, where Sammy getting on that video. Whatever you think you did, that was a poke for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. No, JWoww is just like, I don't want any part of this.
Yep.
I don't want any part of this.
Yep.
Listen, I'm here for it.
Yeah. So the new episode drops tonight. Summer House drops tonight. So we'll be watching that. That was good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up real quick. So the trailer for New Jersey came out, Real Housewives. And in it, you know, Dolores and Paulie are sitting down with Teresa and Louie. And Teresa says that, you know, Frank Catania told them that before New York, the reunion, obviously.
No, I don't know why they call it New York. Why don't they just call it what it is? I don't know why they don't
just say the reunion. I guess it's breaking the fourth wall.
Okay, whatever.
But they all went to Margaret's house to, you know,
plan the takedown
to take down Louie. So I saw an interview with Melissa today, and she was like, "Listen, that's what everybody does." And it wasn't a plan to take down Louie. She goes, before we went to New York, we were all girlfriends. Me, Margaret, you know, Rachel, we're all good friends. We get together with our husbands, and we got together one Friday night. We were having wine, and we were like, what are we going to do about this guy, Louie? Like, he's investigating all of us. Like, this is fucked up. What are we going to do about it? She's like, that's the conversation we had. She said, it wasn't to take anybody down. And she said, this is very common practice. As a matter of fact, she said Louie and Teresa contacted her before one of the reunions. She didn't say which one, but she said that they were asking her to side with them and go against Margaret to keep the storyline more about family. And she was like, absolutely not. She's one of my best friends. She's like, so these things happen. So she didn't deny it, but she just spun it where it's like, we're not the only ones who did that.
But why does Frank out them? Why did Frank go and tell them? Like, that makes no sense.
With you, when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, they're fucking lying, because Frank Catania. Why would Frank Catania betray Joe Gorga like that? Like,
right?
They've known each other for 30 years. Why would he do that? But he did.
But did he? Why?
I don't know.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, did he?
Yeah, I don't know.
And why would he do that? Listen, I feel like if Frank did do it, he will admit to it.
Right.
I feel
I think so.
I feel like he'll admit to it, but I don't even know. Are we going to see Frank this year? Are we going to see him this year?
Yes, because Rachel, did you hear Rachel and John on Two Teas in a Pod?
I did not.
It's a good one, and it's very short.
Okay.
It's a good one. Yeah, try to listen to that. But yeah, they said that Frank and Brittany are definitely on. They asked if they thought Brittany would be a good housewife, and Rachel said she thinks she's too nice for it. But Frank would be a good housewife.
Well, Frank is a good housewife. We already know that.
She said she thinks Brittany's too nice. I can see that. I do wish they would make her a housewife. But you know what? If anybody's going to come at her, I wouldn't want to watch that, because she does seem like a sweetheart. So, but I like the fact that they're on it. I want to see more of them. And Rachel and John were like, we don't even know if their engagement was filmed. Like, they couldn't remember. I hope it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frank and Brittany.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, that
yeah.
was a good podcast. But I thought that it was good that Melissa didn't deny what she was asked. And listen, with everything on social media right now, with what Teresa and Louie and Jen and her fucking lawyer were doing, Melissa could say whatever she wants right now. She's still not gonna look like the bad guy. But people are blasting Jennifer on social media and it's like Teresa was doing the same thing. Why is nobody blasting her? It's like infuriating.
The Teresa lovers stand by Teresa.
It's outrageous.
It's all the time. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a Teresa hater. I'm not a Teresa lover. Listen, I'm not a Melissa hater. I'm not a Melissa lover. I've always said this. I watch this show. I watch all of these shows for entertainment. I just think it's entertaining. It's an hour where it's mindless entertainment.
Do you still find Jersey entertaining though?
I do, actually. I mean, I hope I do this season. I hope I do.
I do too.
I hope I do.
I really don't find it entertaining anymore. I think it's hard to watch.
All right. So we'll see. I mean, if we both feel that way at the end, then we won't watch it anymore. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
if they bring Teresa back after this season, I honestly don't know if I could watch it. I have a hard enough time watching her. I can't stomach seeing Louis on camera. I can't stomach that man. I would never be around him. Not that he wants to be around me either. Just putting that out there. But we'll see. We'll see.
Right. We'll have to wait and see. Sunday's the big night, May 5th.
Yep.
All right. Until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly. Bye.
Bye.